Here I am, back at this mess. So I'm back working on my speakers. So what I'm doing is running wire, and then I'm making quick connects on here. So what I did is I bought this wire cable, and it has, let's see if we can get that wire right in there. Anyway, it has 6 cables inside of it. So the reason I did that is because each one of these, there'll be 2 cables to each speaker. So 1, 2, and then there'll be the one down in the kick panel. And so what I'm going to do is have the quick connects. That way, in case I ever have to take the dash apart and everything, I could just quick connect it. Then the dash will come out. So I am going to have my amps and stuff on the passenger side. So I'm having the quick connect over there. And what I did is I ran it up through here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, because the screw will go down into here, so I don't want the screw hitting into the speaker wire. So I'm gonna tie it up with zip ties. Run right there and run it through there, there, over to here. So it's coming from the amplifier into the crossover, and then up through here, up and around over to the driver's side. So then from here, I'll splice these wires, and I'll put a quick connect going down to the speaker on the kick panel, and then connect these 2 wires, to here. So that way everything's just connected, and I just need to make sure the colors, I need to make sure I plug them in exactly to the ones that need to be plugged in. Because if not, then I'll get wires and everything confused. So when I do the other side, which I'm doing over here, here's the other side to that. And so how you do these is, so you're going to strip the wire first. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it and strip the wire, from your stripping end. Show a little bit of bare wire, and then you have to make sure you're using the right connection, because you got a female and a male connection on these. It's really hard to see, but they blur out a little bit. So anyway, so all you do is you just put that in there, set it in there, and then you'd bring this tool, just crimp it in. And what you're doing is you're crimping these little ends on the very end here. What they do is they bend and they go down inside. So I'll bend one right now for you. So give me a minute, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like crimped in. So once you crimp it in, that's what it looks like. You see that little crimp on the end right there? See if I can focus more on it, maybe. There we go. So basically you're crimping that little end right there onto there. So then that will just slide into your little harness here. Actually going through this way. And so this is your female end, and then when you plug them in, you can just quick connect and get them out. So it saves a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to do it initially, but it'll save you a lot of time if you ever have to take it back out. It just snaps out. That way you're not rewiring anything if you ever have to take it out. So I'm going to do that to the rest of these wires. And then what this one is I'll show you a little bit later. So that's what it'll do, is that, and then I can get all these wires ran. So basically what it does is it comes from the head unit. Okay, then it'll go to the amp. So it'll go to the amp here. The amp just basically amplifies the signal and provides more wattage, more power, and whatnot. Then it goes to the crossover. The crossover, basically, what it does is I have 3 speakers. So I have a tweeter, what you'd call a kind of a mid, and then you got the, I guess the driver, the main sub, or not sub, but the 6.5 inch. So what it is each one of these speakers, they sound better if it's a different frequency. So that's what the crossover does, is it'll send a different frequency to each speaker. So your speaker is going to sound more clear and better. So because you're getting the right sound and frequencies to the right speakers. So that's what a crossover does. And amplifier, like I said, amplifies more wattage, more power for your speakers, can move more. And that's basically really all it is. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to be setting this all up, doing that. I'll show you the next thing. I want to get this connected up to here. That way we can see what I'm trying to show you, what I'm going at before I zip tie anything down. Because once I zip tie, I don't want to, I don't want to waste zip ties and cut them off and redo them again. So anyway, I'm going to finish up these wires, and then I'll show how to put them in the connector if I can. Because basically all you do is you just take this. Try this again. Basically all you do is you take this connector and you're just going to push it all the way in. Let's see if I can do it. So just like that. So then it just snaps in and it won't come out. So that's all you do, is you just push it all the way in. Really easy. Sometimes, I use a little screwdriver to kind of push it in, and you can see the little barb on it, these little barbs. So that's what catches in there and it won't come out. Very easy. Just takes a little bit of time. It's hard for me to handle because these speakers the speaker wire is a little thinner. So it's kind of hard to hold the clamps and all that to squeeze it in, but just takes time. Not hard, just takes time. All right. I'll show you what we do after that. Here's an example of it crimping. And it just bends it over. And that's all it really does. Simple enough. I'll put it one more time to get that one little bend that's kind of sticking out. But that's really all you're doing. Simple as that. Not too hard. Like I said, just hard to hold because it's so small. But example of it bending. All right, pro tip. I'm actually using this end here to be on here. That way I'll have a female and a male on the opposite side. That way I'll never mix them up. But a pro tip is I'm going to plug it in, and then that way I can just match the color. So orange is going to go at the top. See, that way I know I don't mess up the wire coloring. So now I'm going to stick these in here just for now, and then I'll disconnect and then leave it hanging. So I'll kind of show you that. So all these do is they just snap in. All right. Okay, so now you notice all the wires, orange matches with orange, white with white, black with black, red with red, green with green. Now, so it's quick connect, so it comes off. But see, I'm using this, going to go this way. So that way I have a female and a male end. So when I have the connections coming up through, I can't accidentally, switch them. And that way they'll be correct. So that's kind of a pro tip. Instead of using 2 females at the end. So that's just kind of thinking ahead. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these And I'm gonna just take take one of these little zip ties and zip tie it together, just coming up here, because this short one, let me come out a little bit, this short one is just going to go to these speakers and then down, make a quick connect down to the kick panel one. So that's my initial connection from there, and then I know where I'm going to set up from there, so then I can cut the length that I need for these speakers and go from there. So now I know that this female one will go all the way over to the driver's side, and then the male one is on the passenger side. So when I run the speakers from the amp to the crossover, so forth, I don't get the wires confused. Make sense? Yeah, not too bad, huh? So now I'm gonna make a quick connect. I'm gonna splice this end, run the 2 connections here and then to here, figure out what colors I want to use for the tweeter and what colors for the mid-range, and then the other colors for the quick connect that go down to the kick panel. So that's where I'm going to start deciding on what colors I'm going to use. And so I'm going to use them the same colors for both sides. You know, for these will have the same color as this side, but I'll know which ones are which because of the female and male leads. So I'm actually kind of working backwards. A lot of people will actually install the amp, you know, and then work that way and go forward. But the reason I'm doing this is because this has to go up in first. So once this is up in there, it's going to be a pain in the butt to, you know, wire. So I have to figure out my wiring up here first. So that's why I'm working backwards. So sometimes it works that way better. Sometimes it works better the other way. All right, I'm going to go on to the next step. Okay, so now looking at my connection here, I got the orange and yellow. I'm going to go with each speaker going up and down or vertical on these. So orange and yellow, yellow or white and green, and then red and black for my speakers. So I'm thinking orange and yellow for my kick panels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of electrical tape, tape it up a little bit. That way I isolate it and I know which one I want for the kick panel. So then that way, these speakers, I'll make a quick connect, and then these ones I'll shorten up down here, and then I'll figure out which ones I want to do for what. So what I'm thinking is I'll go orange and yellow for the kick panel because it's the bigger speaker. The next bigger speaker, the 3-inch, I'll go white and green. Okay, so white and green will be the next one. And then for the tweeter, red and black. And what I'll do is, because, you know, speakers have a positive and a negative, so I'll do negative. So where black usually be a negative, I'm going to use the top as negative, and then these down as positive. So that way I remember everything, and you know, what colors go where, and positive and negative. That way there's no reverse polarity, and that way we'll set it up that way. So I'm going to take a little bit of electrical tape, tape just a little bit of that off, and then do a quick connect on. I got a 2-piece, a 2-wire one, so instead of the 6, so that'll make it easier just to connect on and off. All right, and then this is what I did. I zip tied up along here. That way it's not, none of the holes will, you know, hit. I have to move that one a little bit over, but you can see they're out of the way. That way none of the screws will get in it or anything like that. So, okay. Okay, so another quick little thing is I marked on the bottom of that black, and see it's orange because I decided orange is going to be the ground. That way it matches along the ground, along the top, and then these will be positive on the other side. So that way it helps me remember which side is ground. But also it helps, like if I'm underneath the dash and everything, I can just line up black with black, and then the other side, you know, is just clear. Even though there's a little clip there, that way I'm not just trying to like shove it all in and, you know, get it all in there. So that's kind of another little pro tip. I'm gonna probably finish there tonight. I got too much stuff to do. I got to go find some different plugins for these and connectors for these. I went and looked on my shelf and I don't have them, so I'll have to go buy a set of them. But my plugins right there, and then of course these are going to be plugged into here, so I might finish up them. But other than that, not much more I can do. I might just do the speaker wire that goes to these. That way I have those plugins. But yep, till then, a little bit step closer. So, all right, see you next time.